Howdy guys, I believe I've got my recording set alright. Okay, had to check that because I'm not using my Yeti today, I'm just using my standard headset, which is a bit different for me. Not used to it. It's actually weird having to talk here instead of out here somewhere. But I do apologize. I was a bit lazy last week. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my video log. I'm gonna do it. Got to Tuesday, and then I got flat out with work, so I didn't do it Wednesday, and then I was just tired, and Thursday I was tired, and I was like, oh. Then I didn't think I had any valuable content to really put on, so I started doing a couple other things as well, which is really, really cool. So pretty much that's it. Today should be a bit longer. Um, I do have some ideas for next week's one actually, which will be really, really cool, but pretty much it's been really a really interesting week. I've been really flat out. Flash have been coming up with a lot of good stuff for me finally to do. So they've been pretty passive the past year and a bit because they've been building up, but it looks like we're going to be doing some things with them, which is going to be really, really sick. As well as my stuff with base trade and my own personal things. So as you saw, I do have an intro now, which is super amazing. I've been playing with After Effects, which is super cool. I love the word super, by the way. It's super awesome. But been playing with After Effects, and it's been a really, really interesting experience because I want to start getting into a bit more Photoshop. I actually want to look at studying it, which would be really cool. Studying graphic design in general, and After Effects is just a really interesting program. So Photoshop, everyone really knows what Photoshop is. Just using tools to edit the image, add things in, sort of merge things together, make it look prettier. After Effects is more about the animation and adding effects into video and movie. So you can use actual video clips or you can use still images and animate them as you saw there. So that video there took me about 3 hours and it was pretty interesting. I mean, I learned a lot making it. But there's not really that many effects that go into it. I mean, like, you've got a camera effect where it's a 3D sliding it across. You've got one really nifty effect called trap code, which is really cool. And that one was the killer. That one has so many features, but it enables all that fire and all the randomness to happen during it, as well as some glow effects, some ramp effects, which is the gradients that you'll see in there, which are really cool as well. So I'm slowly learning that, and I'll be making hopefully be able to make some content for Base Trade TV as well. I'm looking at making a new logo for map control instead of the eye. We're going to have something a bit more relevant. So we sort of, no, it's not a change in philosophy, but we sort of discovered how everyone in base trade is, how we interact with the audience. We want something more relevant towards that than just, being a casting organization, which is really, really cool. So look forward to that. Hopefully in the next week, I'm hopefully going to crank that out. If not in the next couple of weeks, depending on work and how knackered I end up getting. I am running on caffeine still. I'm still running on yesterday, which is really cool. But yeah, aside from that, so graphic design has been pretty interesting. I've also been doing some map intros. Since I've only been learning After Effects, this really basic one, but I did do one here. So actually, this is just my other video, so I'll just load up Belshire Vestige. I believe it's this one. After I finish deafening myself, by the way. So this is the intro, which is pretty cool.
Belshire Vestige.
Yeah, so that's that. Did a bit of fiddling with it. Got it to about that in a couple of days, but again, my first time using After Effects for such a thing, so I was sort of like, well, got to get everything to match up, which isn't that hard, it's just time consuming. But the other thing I've learned with that is the cinematics editor in StarCraft, the StarCraft 2 editor, which is really cool. You can pretty much just control the camera from any angle, make it jump to anywhere. I mean, look, the commands aren't that complicated, but they are frustrating, so that took a while to learn that. But it allows you to do panning across the map, start, stop, lift. I don't know, pretty much every movement you can think of. So whether how they do the GSL movements across the map, that's exactly how they do it there with the internal recording. So you just get your camera set up, you record it, and you've actually got all your video in one. Then you just start splitting up which parts you want, and you get something like that, which is really cool. And match it to music. That's actually using Two Steps from Hell Jungle Fever. Two Steps from Hell released some pretty sick music. The only problem is if I use that music for a final product, I can't use it to monetize. I don't believe. I'm pretty sure they're okay as long as you give reference to their music and pretty much state this is their music. I do not own it, and you link to their stuff, which is, I mean, it's okay to do that. They are pretty sick, and their music's awesome. But I will have to check on that. But hopefully that's the case, so I can use their stuff for most of the intros because it is really awesome and really appropriate. Uh, One other thing I've been doing with the UI side of things, so I did say I've been trying to make a headwind on this UI. I will actually give an example of this. So I've got my Dolly book. This was the first book that was close to me, so I got my Dolly book. And I started noting down pretty much everything for certain sections. So I've only started doing the mini map area just to like make sure it's 100%. But this is what you're sort of looking at for custom UI. It's pretty trippy. And I mean, it's not that complicated. It's pretty much just a listing of order, listing your coding. So starting off with what you're editing, and then where you're. So you're having they all have templates, so you can edit the template. So we're editing we're gonna anchor it on this side and this side, so on the top and right side at coordinate whatever, so it'll lock on that position. And then you can also move it across from there, so you can anchor it to those sides. Then say I want to anchor it on the left side, on the left side exactly, but then I want to position it 200 pixels to the right, and it will move it from there. So sort of like a coordinate system, which is really cool. And apart from that, it's really just saying, okay, this is what I'm using, this is where it's going, and this is how big it is. And most things are like that, but using the commands can be really, really tricky. If you don't use the exact ones, it don't work. If you don't find the exact command line or the exact frame for what you want to change, it don't work. If it is a movable frame, you cannot delete it. You have to move it. So there's a whole lot of stuff that's really, really difficult. Once you figure out what's what, it's not too bad, but still far ways off from what Blizzard's doing. I mean, I had a look at what Blizzard's doing, and they're things like it's pages and pages and pages long. But I'm actually not sure how much further the custom UI will go, because we have, if anyone's realized what's been coming out in StarCraft 2 is the Gameheart. The Gameheart custom interface, which is actually a custom map. So it's not just it's not a plugin. It's a custom map that you will load. So if you're in a tournament, rather than loading MLG Cloud Kingdom or GSL Cloud Kingdom or something like that, for example, which is what we'd normally be doing, we'd be using GSL MLG maps, ESL maps. This time it would be Gameheart. So there's different type of map. They actually have a start menu, who's playing, what tooltips you want. It has all these options, a really nice looking screen, countdown into the game, and it actually displays each team, so you can actually have who's playing. So for example, not only the players, but for example, if you had Incredible Miracle playing against Evil Genius, it would also have their icons in the game, not only in the score section, but also on the map itself. Like, for example, how we would see the GSL icon on the ground, which is really cool. So if that gets modified to an actual observer interface, that would be sick, because that thing is amazing. I believe it also allows you to draw on the screen, so you can actually explain why things are happening. So not only saying, okay, an attack's coming here, but you could draw a line, okay, the attack could come from here, it could come from here, and you can visually see. It's no longer just the mouse moving. You can see the arrow, you can see which way it's pointing, you can see the motion, you can see the movement. It's fantastic. So hopefully that gets replay support and actually gets inbuilt into the Blizzard, into the StarCraft 2 client, because that would be awesome to see that. I mean, aside from that, nothing really has been happening too much in the StarCraft 2 area. I've been fairly quiet this week. I've been mostly focusing on computer graphics and trying to get some other personal things sorted. But computer graphics wise, that's pretty much all of it. In game, I've been doing a bit of practice. I'm playing Zerg again. I have this issue where I change race a lot. I do like randoming, but I'm liking Zerg in Heart of the Swarm. I like Terran and Wings a little bit. I still do like Terran, but I find I like a race more because I'm comfortable with them, not because I like playing them. I really did like playing Zerg. I really did like playing Terran. I like playing Protoss as well. But yeah, it's just really, really trippy. So I'm maining Zerg at the minute, see how that goes. I'm really enjoying the Viper. I love the Viper. I love the Swarm host, but you can't use them very effectively yet. They're really, really they're not. They haven't really got a place. Swarm hosts really don't have a place at all unless you're all inning. They're not that great. Vipers do have a place. They're really good, but you have to wait till late game, so you can't really base a strategy on them. They're just a support unit. They're just there to assist your army. You can't just rush for Viper because you might have Vipers, but well, you haven't got anything else. They don't do damage. They just assist your units in combat. They do a really good job of it, by the way, but they just assist, so that's no good as a general strategy. But I mean, aside from that, Mutalisk really, really strong, and the Hydra upgrade just allows for Hydralisk movement. And Infestors are still really good. Been seeing a lot of tournaments going around with them in, so probably still going to use them a fair bit. But I might do a bit of a bit of a summary on my ladder a bit later. But yeah, in personal life, I actually want to make a video. I made something on Sunday cooking wise. I do like cooking, and I've been meaning to make a video. I wanted to make a video, but I've only got one pair of hands, so I might have to get my partner to help me film this, which would be cool, just on my phone, just for shits and giggles. But film the making of nacho pie, which, by the way, is the most trippy and hilarious thing ever, but it is the most delicious and messy thing as well. And it's just your pie with your taco mince, so you cook your mince however you want, by the way, because everyone likes the spicy, not spicy, blah blah blah. And then you add nachos and salsa and sour cream and more nachos and more mince and massive amounts of cheese and pastry, and it is just this big pie full of nacho stuff, and it all just throw it in the oven. It just all melts, and the nachos become really soft in there. But you don't break them up, so they're solid, but they're really soft, so you can feel them in there, and you chew them, and you can taste them. But they're nice and soft, and the whole thing is just really, really nice, and the pastry is nice and crispy, and it's just it's so good. So I want to make a video on that because that would be awesomely hilarious. And hopefully we can make something like every 2 to 3 weeks because that'd be cool. Anyway, I believe that's I believe that's it. I don't think I've gone. Actually, no, I do think I've gone for a tiny bit longer than normal, which is okay. But oh yes, no. One more thing. I did cast the Masters Cup on the weekend with Claymores. That was done on his stream, so that if they should be involved in them, that's twitch.tv/Claymores. That's CLEIGHMOORES. But unfortunately, we had a lovely person going around deciding to DDoS everyone's streams on Team Liquid that night. So our stream got it. I got it personally as well. Duckville, one of the other streams covering the Masters Cup, got DDoSed. A few of the pros got DDoSed, and yeah, we all just got genuinely frustrated, which is really unfortunate because it was a really nice night. There were some pretty interesting games. I mean, a few of the games were pretty lackluster, but those that weren't lackluster were really interesting, which was really cool, by the way. So, like, it's just really disappointing that it happened and we couldn't cast all those games. So, hopefully next time I do an event like that, that won't happen. But you never know. There's always a risk that someone's going to be really bored one night and decide to go on everyone's parade. Okay, aside from that, I am going to log off. So guys, thank you for listening. This is my third video log, I believe. I am attempting to do one every week. It's just really difficult to remember and or get to it. I am actually, as I said, I think last week or the week before that, I've only just moved out and I'm still getting the hang of things, so there's lots to do and just not enough time. But aside from that, guys, thank you for tuning in. Hearts to everyone that tunes in. Of course, you can follow me at Flamga SC2 on Twitter, Facebook, as well as facebook.com/Flamga. I will update what I'm doing there pretty much daily. I will be releasing some my own personal YouTube stuff, so I'll be doing stuff with Base Trace TV, obviously. But if I find something I would like to release personally, doing my own thing, then I'll do it on my YouTube as well. So I'll be releasing content for both channels, and that's mostly just to maintain my own identity. I love working with Base Trade, by the way. These guys are freaking amazing. But since I mostly do solo casting, which is cool at the same time, but I love casting with others. So I'll be releasing content through Base Trade and through my own stuff, for my own tournaments and all that, through Flash as well. Okay, guys, thank you, and we will catch you next time.